Hi, welcome to section 1.3. We're going to be solving equations with variables that are on both sides of the equal sign. This is your core concept. I'm on page 20. This down here, which are your steps for solving linear equations, it's from your journal and it's pretty good. So I want you to make sure you take notes on this. I'll give you some time to pause it and take notes. The first thing you want to look to see is if there's parentheses anywhere, so that you have to use a distributive property to get rid of those parentheses. Then you're going to simplify the expression on each side of the equation. You're going to collect like terms so that a variable is on one side and then the number or the constants on the other side. So that's going to be isolating the variable, and you're always going to check your solution. So let's do a problem here. No parentheses, so I do not need to distribute anything, but I do want to move this x, this term right here, to the other side. So I'm going to undo this operation, which is minus 4x is now going to be, I'm going to add 4x to both sides. That becomes 0. Make sure you always line up your equal signs. I'm going to bring down my 10, and that's going to be negative 5x. Now this is multiplication, so now we're going to undo the operation by dividing. So I'm going to divide both sides by negative 5. And then we're going to find out that x equals negative 2. Well, let's make sure that this answer is correct by checking our solution. We're going to check our solution by substituting for x. And we're going to put negative 2, which I think is the solution right now. So negative 9 times negative 2. It is worth checking, and sometimes you could do this quickly in your head with mental math. So this is going to equal positive 18, and quickly I can see that 18 equals 18. So it works. Let's move on to the next one. Now this one looks complicated because there's a fraction, but a fraction is the same thing as division, okay? So we're going to distribute everything first. This first one is a little bit easier, I'm sure. 3 times 3x is going to be 9x minus 12. And that's going to equal, well, 1/4 of 32. So I just want you to think about it as 32 divided by 4. And that's going to be 8x plus 56 divided by 4 is 14. Okay, now I'm going to move the x's all to one side, and I want my variable to be positive. So I'm going to, if I subtract 9x from both sides, this will make this one negative. So let's subtract 8x from both sides. That just makes it a little cleaner. That will become 0. I'm going to bring down my equal sign, and then I have 14. And this is going to be positive x minus 12. Great, one step. I'm now going to add 12 to both sides, and then x is going to equal 26. Now I want you to check your work and tell me what is your answer. So when you get to it, what is going to equal what? Great. Okay, so now we have monitoring progress 1, 2, and 3. I'm going to want you to pause the video, and then I'm going to want you to check your work, okay? Put your answers in, and then check your work. Okay, let's do this. Hopefully you got them right. If not, that's okay. Here's how we solve them. So I'm going to move this x to the other side. So I'm going to subtract 3x since it's positive from both sides. This is going to be negative 5x is going to equal 10. I'm going to divide both sides by negative 5. And x is going to equal negative 2. Okay, this one, I'll do it over here so a little more space. When I divide it in, again, just think of it as division, half of 6, or 6 divided by 2. So when I distribute that, it's going to be 3h minus 4 divided by 2 is going to be 2. That equals negative 5h plus 1. I'm going to move this one to this side here, this 5h, to keep the variable positive. This becomes 8h minus 2 equals 1, because that cancels out. I'm now going to add 2 to both sides. So bring this down, 8h equals 3. I'm now going to divide both sides by 8, And as you find out, your answer here will be a fraction, 3/8. Now let's do the last one. We're going to distribute this in. Okay, this one's going to be a little tricky, so I'm going to write it out for you so it's cleaner for you. Okay, so this is really negative 3/4 times 8n plus negative 3/4 times 12, and that's going to equal 3n minus 9, because that's an easy distribution. Here you see I can cross reduce. That becomes a 2. So this is going to be negative 6n. This is a minus, right? Because there's a negative, so it's going to be minus. Cross reduce here. So it's going to be minus 9. And that's going to equal 3n minus 9. Okay, so I'm going to move this 6n to this side to keep it positive, the variable positive. So I'm going to add 6n to both sides. Bring down the negative 9. So this is now going to be positive 9 minus 9n, sorry. I'm going to add 9 to both sides. Ooh, that becomes 0. And my last step, which I'll move over here, I divide both sides by 9. Oh, no space. And you're going to see that 0 is going to equal n. And make sure you check your solution.